The mountain trip that went wrong. Alex found the letter 3 days after his grandfather's funeral. It was inside an old wooden box hidden at the back of his grandfather's desk. Alex almost didn't notice it. The box looked like it held nothing but old photographs, but under the photographs there was an envelope with his name on it. For Alex, when I'm gone. His hands felt cold as he opened it. Inside was a short letter and a hand-drawn map of the mountains near their town. On the map, someone had marked a small X near a place called Raven Peak. The letter said only a few lines. "There's something I never told your father. It's still up there where I left it. Find it, and you'll understand why I left these mountains. Forgive me for staying silent so long." Alex read the letter 3 times. His grandfather was a serious man, not someone who liked mysteries or secrets. He had grown up in these mountains but left as a young man and never returned, not even for a visit. Now he was gone, and this letter was the last thing he ever wrote. Alex had to know what it meant. That evening, Alex called his 2 best friends, Tom and Sophia. "I found something strange," he said. "A letter from my grandfather and a map. He marked a spot near Raven Peak. He says something is still up there, something he never told anyone." Tom laughed. "A secret map? Sounds like a bad movie plot." "I'm serious," Alex said. "He wrote this right before he died. I need to go. This weekend." Sophia was quiet for a moment. "Your grandfather helped me study for exams every summer," she said finally. "If this matters to you, I'll come." "Fine, count me in too," Tom said. "But if we get lost, I'm blaming both of you." Alex smiled, even though his eyes were still tired from crying at the funeral. "Deal, we leave Saturday morning." On Friday night, Alex checked the weather forecast. Rain was expected, a big storm arriving Sunday afternoon, but Saturday looked clear, and Sunday morning too. If they left early and moved quickly, they could reach the marked spot and return before the worst of the storm. He packed carefully: water, food, a first aid kit, a flashlight, warm clothes, and the map, protected inside a plastic bag. Early Saturday morning, the 3 friends arrived at the start of the mountain trail. A park ranger stood near the parking area, writing names into a small notebook. "Where are you headed?" the ranger asked. "Raven Peak," Alex said. The ranger's expression turned serious. "That trail isn't easy. The path near the very top is closed. There was a rock slide there last year. Dangerous ground." "We're not going all the way up," Alex explained. "There's a spot before that, near some old mining huts." The ranger raised his eyebrows. "The old mining huts? Nobody's been up there in years. That area's far from the marked path. If anything happens, help won't reach you quickly." Tom glanced at Alex. Maybe he has a point. Alex thought about his grandfather's words. "Forgive me for staying silent so long." He couldn't turn back now. "We'll be careful," Alex told the ranger. "We have supplies, a compass, and we know this map well." The ranger sighed. He couldn't stop them. Only the top section of the trail was officially closed. "Be back by Sunday afternoon," he warned. "If the weather changes fast, turn around immediately. Understood?" "Understood," Alex said. They started walking. None of them noticed the ranger writing their names down with a worried look on his face. The first hours were easy. The trail was clear and the forest smelled fresh after last night's rain. Squirrels ran between the trees, and Tom kept making jokes to keep the mood light. By midday, the path grew steeper. Soft ground turned into loose rock. The trees became shorter and further apart. "How much further to the fork in the trail?" Sophia asked, breathing harder now. Alex checked the map. "Not far, maybe another hour." They reached the fork by early afternoon. One path continued up toward Raven Peak, the dangerous closed section. The other path turned left toward an old forgotten trail leading to the mining huts. They turned left. This path was rougher and harder to follow. Fallen branches blocked parts of it, and in some places they had to climb over broken trees just to keep moving. "You sure this is the right way?" Tom asked, pushing a branch aside. Alex studied the map again. "Yes, this line here. It matches exactly." They kept walking. The sky slowly changed. Grey clouds appeared where blue sky had been just an hour before. "That's early," Sophia said, glancing upward. "The storm wasn't supposed to arrive until tomorrow." "Forecasts aren't always right," Alex said, trying to stay calm. But a small worry had already started growing in his chest. By mid-afternoon, they reached a problem none of them had expected. A river wider than anything the map showed, blocking the path completely. "This wasn't here before," Alex said, confused, checking the map again. "Or maybe it was always here, and the map just didn't show it clearly." The river wasn't deep, but it moved fast, and the water looked cold. Large rocks stuck out here and there, but they were wet and slippery. "We could cross using those rocks," Tom suggested, pointing. "It's risky," Sophia said. "If someone falls in that current—" Alex looked at the sky. The clouds were getting darker by the minute. Waiting wasn't really an option. They needed to reach the huts before the storm. "We go one at a time," Alex decided. "Slowly. If anyone feels unsafe, stop and wait." Sophia crossed first, moving carefully from rock to rock, arms out for balance. She made it safely to the other side. "Your turn," she called to Tom. Tom moved more quickly, trying to look confident. Halfway across, his foot slipped on a wet rock. "Whoa!" he shouted, falling forward into the cold water. "Tom!" Alex ran along the bank, trying to reach him. The current pushed Tom a few meters downstream before he managed to grab a low branch hanging over the water. Alex reached out and pulled him toward the shore, both of them soaked and breathing hard. "You okay?" Alex asked, helping Tom sit on a rock. Just cold," Tom said, teeth chattering. "And my bag is soaked. Half our food is probably ruined." Sophia opened her own bag. "We still have some dry food in mine. It'll be tight, but we'll manage." They found a spot sheltered by rocks and helped Tom change into dry clothes from his bag, which had stayed mostly dry near the top. But the delay had cost them almost an hour, and the storm clouds were now directly above them. Rain began falling just as they started moving again. Light at first, then heavier within minutes. "We need shelter," Alex said, looking around. "Now before this gets worse." They found a narrow space between two large boulders, just enough to fit all three of them if they sat close together. Cold wind pushed rain sideways into the small gap, but it was better than nothing. "This is not how I planned this weekend," Alex said quietly. "None of us planned any of this," Sophia said. "But we're okay. We're together, and the storm will pass eventually." They waited almost 2 hours. Thunder rolled across the mountains, and the sky turned nearly black, even though it was still afternoon. Tom shivered constantly, still cold from the river. "We can't stay here much longer," Alex said finally, watching Tom's pale face. "He needs somewhere warmer and drier." When the rain became slightly lighter, they moved again, following the map toward the mining huts. The ground was slick with mud now, and every step required care. "Careful," Alex warned, stepping around a wet patch of ground. But a second later, his own foot slid on loose gravel. He fell hard, twisting his ankle underneath him. "Ah!" he cried out, grabbing his leg. Sophia rushed to him. "Alex, are you hurt?" "My ankle," he said through clenched teeth. "I think I really hurt it." He tried to stand, but the pain shot up his leg immediately, forcing him back down. "I can't put weight on it," he admitted. Sophia looked at Tom, both of them worried now. Tom was cold and shaking, and Alex could barely walk. This trip, which had started as a search for a family secret, had turned into something far more dangerous than any of them expected. "We need shelter, fast," Sophia said, taking charge. She opened the first aid kit and wrapped Alex's ankle tightly. "This won't fix it, but it'll give you some support." "Lean on me," she told Alex. "Tom, take his other side, even if you're still cold. Moving will help warm you up." Slowly, painfully, the three of them moved forward together through the mud and rain. After a difficult 30 minutes, Tom suddenly stopped. "Wait, do you see that?" Ahead, mostly hidden by trees, stood the shape of an old wooden structure. "The mining huts," Alex said, his heart lifting despite the pain in his ankle. "We made it." They pushed forward with new energy. As they got closer, they noticed something unexpected, smoke rising from one of the huts. "Someone's there," Sophia said, surprised. They approached carefully. The door of the nearest hut opened before they even reached it. An old man stepped out, holding a lantern. His hair was grey, and his eyes were sharp and alert. When he saw the three young people, he froze in place. "Who are you?" the man asked. His voice sounded rough, like someone who hadn't spoken to visitors in a long time. "Sorry to bother you," Alex said. "My friend is hurt and we're caught in the storm. We need help." The old man looked at Alex's ankle, then nodded slowly. "Come in, quickly, before this storm gets worse." Inside the small hut, a fire crackled warmly. The old man helped Alex sit near it and examined his ankle carefully. "Not broken," he said. "But it's a bad sprain. You'll need to rest it for several days." "Thank you," Alex said. "I'm Alex. This is Sophia and Tom." The old man studied Alex's face for a long moment, something like recognition slowly appearing in his eyes. "Alex," he repeated. "What was your grandfather's name?" Alex blinked, surprised. "How do you know I—" "Your face," the man said quietly. "You look just like him, when he was young." Alex's chest tightened. "You knew my grandfather." The old man sat down slowly, as if the weight of many years was pressing down on him. "My name is Peter," he said. "Your grandfather and I worked together in these mountains many years ago. We mined silver here, before the company closed everything down." "The letter," Alex said quietly, pulling it from his bag. "He wrote that something was still up here, something he never told anyone." Peter's face grew serious. "There was an accident," he said. "Long ago, a tunnel collapsed while we were working inside. Your grandfather and I barely escaped. But a third man, our friend Daniel, didn't make it out in time." The room went silent except for the crackling fire. "The company wanted to hide the accident," Peter continued. "They said it would close the mine and cost everyone their jobs if people found out proper safety rules weren't followed. Your grandfather and I were young and scared. We agreed to stay silent. We told Daniel's family he had simply left town. Alex felt his stomach twist. You lied to his family? For years? Yes, Peter said, his voice heavy with old shame. Your grandfather couldn't live with it. That's why he left these mountains and never came back. The guilt was too much for him. But he asked me once, years ago, if I still had anything from that day. I told him, yes. I kept Daniel's old tools and a letter Daniel had written to his own family, which he never got to send. I've kept it safe all these years, hoping someone would come for it eventually. Peter walked to a wooden chest in the corner and opened it carefully. Inside was an old leather bag, and inside that a folded letter, yellow with age. This belongs to Daniel's family, not mine, Peter said, handing it to Alex. Your grandfather wanted the truth to come out eventually, even if he couldn't do it himself. Maybe that's what he meant, that you would find it and finish what he couldn't. Alex held the letter carefully, his hands trembling. I need to find Daniel's family. They deserve to know the truth. There's a nephew still living in the next town, Peter said. His name is written on the back of the envelope. I never had the courage to visit him myself. Maybe you will. Outside, the storm grew stronger again. Peter insisted they stay the night. Walking down the mountain in this weather with Alex's injured ankle and Tom still recovering from the cold river water would be too dangerous. You can leave in the morning, Peter said. The storm should pass by then. That night, Alex couldn't sleep much. He sat by the fire with Peter, listening to old stories about his grandfather as a young miner. Stories full of both friendship and quiet sadness that Alex had never heard before. He carried this for his whole life, Alex said softly, looking at Daniel's letter. Guilt is heavy, Peter said. Especially guilt you never speak about. Your grandfather built a whole new life far from here, but I don't think he ever really escaped what happened. Maybe writing that note to you, right before the end, was his way of finally putting it down. Alex thought about his own family, his parents waiting at home, unaware of any of this. He thought about how close they had come to real danger that day. The river, the storm, the fall on the muddy path. But through all of it, they had uncovered a story that would have stayed buried forever otherwise. By morning, the storm had passed, exactly as Peter predicted. The sky was clear and bright, freshly washed by the rain. Alex's ankle was still swollen, but with a sturdy stick to lean on and careful bandaging from Peter, he could walk slowly enough to manage the trail down. Are you sure you don't want to come with us? Alex asked Peter. You could finally meet Daniel's family yourself. Peter shook his head slowly, though something in his eyes looked lighter than before. Not yet, he said, but maybe someday, now that the truth is finally moving again. Thank you for coming back for it. Thank you, Peter, Alex said, for keeping it safe all this time. Peter walked with them to the edge of the clearing, pointing toward a barely visible trail. Follow the sound of the river downstream, then look for the marked trees. You'll find the main path within the hour. The walk down the mountain was slow because of Alex's ankle, but nobody complained. The sun felt warm on their backs, and the forest smelled clean after the rain. So, Tom said, still walking carefully after his fall in the river, your grandfather kept a huge secret his whole life, and we found out because a storm forced us to hide in some old miner's hut. When you say it like that, it does sound unbelievable, Sophia said, smiling. It is unbelievable, Alex agreed. But I understand him so much better now. He wasn't just a quiet man who never talked about his past. He was someone who carried something painful for his entire life and never knew how to fix it. They reached the main trail by early afternoon. The same ranger from Saturday morning was waiting there, visible relief crossing his face when he spotted them. "You're late," he said. "I was starting to get worried. What happened to your leg?" "A fall and a difficult river crossing," Alex said. "But we're okay now. We found what we came for." The ranger looked puzzled, but didn't push for more details. He helped them to the car, made sure Alex's ankle was properly checked, and wished them a safe drive home. As they drove away, Alex held Daniel's old letter carefully in his hands, along with the address of a nephew he had never met. The trip had gone wrong in almost every possible way: a dangerous river, an unexpected storm, a painful injury. But it had also given him something unexpected: the true story of his grandfather's guilt, and a chance to finally set an old wrong right. Some trips go wrong, he thought, watching the mountains grow smaller behind them, but sometimes going wrong is exactly how the truth finally finds its way home. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Subscribe for more English stories. Keep learning, and see you in the next video.